I'm going to invite you people. Okay. So let's see. That's Vinay, Harish, Anita, Bhatyankar, Sadhana, Kalpana, Rachna, Swati, Nalini. I think that's it. Okay. So the invitation is done. Going to do Shanti mantras now. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha Shanno Bhavaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayu Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavade Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Yaschandasa Mrishabho Vishwarupaha Chandobhyodhyamrita At Sambhabuva Samendro Medaya Aspranoto Amritasya Devadharano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vicharshanam Jihva Me Madhumattama Karna Abhyam Bhuri Vishruvam Brahmana Koshosi Medaya Pihitaha Shrutam Me Gopaya Om Shanti 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 Om Aham Vrikshasya Reriva Kirtif Prishtang Gireriva Urdhva Pavitro Vajineva Swamritamasmi Dravinagum Savarchasam Sumedha Amritokshitaha Iti Trishankurvedanuvacanam Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrutramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmas Te Mai Santu Om Shanti 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 Om Vang Me Manasi Pratishtita Mano Me Vachi Pratishtitam Aviravir Ma Edhi Vedasya Maani Istaha Shrutam Me Ma Prahasi Anenadhitena Ahoratran Sandadami Rutam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaramavatu Vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Om Bhadranno Apivataya Manaha Om Shanti 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 Om Bhadram Karane Vishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitai Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vrittashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastaksho Arishtanemihi स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम यो ब्रह्माणं विददाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तगुंहदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशशिर्भ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञानगणप्रत्यगर्तो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री दयानंदेश्वराय नमः। So let's read the Mandukya verses. I will read everything twice so that you can also repeat. Go to the end of the book. That means you will be on page 220, which is opposite page 221. ओमिति एतद् अक्षरम् ओमिति एतद् अक्षरम् इदं सर्वं तस्य उपव्याख्यानं भूतं भवत् भविष्यद् इति सर्वम् ओंकार एव यच्चान्यत् त्रिकालातीतं तदपि ओंकार एव सर्वं हि एतद् ब्रह्म अयमात्मा ब्रह्म सोऽयमात्मा चतुष्पात् जागरितस्थानः बहिष्प्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्गः एकोनविंशतिमुखः स्थूलभुक् वैश्वानरः प्रथमः पादः स्वप्नस्थानः अन्तःप्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्गः एकोनविंशतिमुखः प्रविविक्तभुक् तैजसः द्वितीयपादः द्वितीयपादः यत्र सुप्तो न कंचन कामं कामयते यत्र सुप्तो न कंचन कामं कामयते न कंचन स्वप्नं पश्यति न कंचन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत्सुषुप्तं तत्सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थानः सुषुप्तस्थानः एकीभूतः एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रज्ञानघनः एव एव आनन्दमयः आनन्दमयः हि आनन्दभुक् हि आनन्दभुक् चेतोमुखः चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञः प्राज्ञः तृतीयपादः तृतीयपादः. So we are here, in the fifth mantra. So Mandukya Upanishad is talking to us about the three states of experience and wanting to show us what is invariable in the three states of experience. So what is invariable? That means that which can never be negated, which is always present, that is the Satyam in the three states of experience. And whatever is negatable, like the waking state gets negated by the dream, and the deep sleep, the dream gets negated by the waking and deep sleep gets negated by the waking and dream. So the states themselves are all negatable. They are all dependent upon this one invariable, and this one invariable is the consciousness that you are, that self-evident, self-revealing consciousness. So that one invariable is Satyam. This is what Mandukya wants to show us, that there is one invariable Satyam in and through the three states, and all the three states are Mithya, including the waking state. That's what Mandukya wants to show us. And so we are now, and so it is describing each of the states, which it is likened to 4 quarters. And that we talked about last time. So each state, we saw the waking state, we saw the dream state, we are looking now at the deep sleep state. So deep sleep state, what I am going to do is, it was very interesting because I was reading the notes of Swami Paramathananji from Bhashya, and I was reading Akhandanandji. So I will summarize Paramathananji's notes in Bhashya, and Akhandanandji's notes I will read out to you. And so in effect, we are going to be repeating the mantra. Okay? It's very interesting. And then we will try to complete it also. Okay. So we saw that it is, this deep sleep state is not daydreaming. Okay, it's not that you're awake and you're dreaming of some objects or something. No, it's not daydreaming, nor is it dream. It is not a sleep in which dream is there. It is a dreamless sleep in which there are no objects, there is nothing. And then it was described that it is Eki Bhutaha, meaning this all the various vrittis which are there in the waking state and in the dream state, and the vrittis have got their objects in the waking state also. So all that is as though been enveloped, ignorance is as though covered this duality of subject-object which is obtaining in waking and dream. The duality is there, but experientially it is not there in deep sleep, because it is as though enveloped by ignorance. For example, supposing you're standing in the balcony and you're looking out at the road, and you're able to see many people there, you're able to see cars, people are walking, people are talking, some people are standing, cars are stationary, cars are moving, other vehicles are moving on that road. You're able to see all of this because there is light. Now imagine that darkness falls and all the lights go out, like at wartime, there is no light at all. Then even though the differences are there, but as far as my experience is concerned, the whole world becomes undifferentiated mass, right? In that darkness, everything becomes undifferentiated. It becomes eki bhutaha. So too in deep sleep, the duality that is obtaining, okay, both in waking and dream, which is expressed as different vrittis in the mind, without actually giving up differences, but experientially is not available anymore because it is enveloped in avidya as though, and so it appears as an undifferentiated mass. Okay, so the dualistic experiences in the form of the thoughts in the mind as well as in the form of the objects outside, they come into undifferentiated mass. Okay, so two words. Eki Bhuta, Swami Paramathanandaji was saying, Eki Bhuta refers to the objects which appear to have dissolved into this undifferentiated mass, whereas Prajnana Ghana, the other word, refers to all experiences which are mental, all the vrittis which appear to merge or dissolve. Okay? Because of the enveloping darkness of avidya, it appears like that. So it looks like a mass of consciousness. Now I will just read Akhandanandjis to you. Okay. स्वप्न और जागृत, ये दोनों स्थान केवल मन से स्पंदन है. इनमें मन हिलता है और जितना द्वैत प्रपंच है, सब का सब मन का स्पंदन, मन का स्फुरना ही है, क्योंकि समाहित चित्त में, समाधि में प्रपंच नहीं रहता. संसार असमाहित विक्षिप्त चित्त में ही दिखता है और विक्षिप्त चित्त की बात प्रामाणिक नहीं हो सकती. लुक एट दैट. यह द्वैत प्रपंच वैसा ही प्रतीत होता है जैसी मन की स्फुरना हो. अज्ञान की निवृत्ति न होने से मन के स्फुरणात्मक रूप का परित्याग भी नहीं होता. लेकिन जैसे रात्रि के अंधकार में सब वृक्ष, सब भवनादि रहते हैं, पर उसका पृथक पृथक ज्ञान नहीं होता, वे प्रतीत नहीं होते, वैसे ही सुषुप्ति में अज्ञान आवरण के कारण प्रपंच की प्रतीति नहीं होती, किंतु प्रपंच यथास्थान रहता है. अज्ञान से ग्रस्त होने के कारण अंधकार ग्रस्त के समान प्रपंच एकाकार हो जाता है. इस एकाकारता को एकीभूत होना कहते हैं. अतएव स्वप्न जागृत की जो मन की स्फुरनाएं हैं, वे प्रज्ञान है. सुषुप्ति में ये स्फुरनाएं एकाकार हो जाती है, घनीभूत हो जाती है. वह अवस्था अविवेक रूप होने के कारण प्रज्ञान घन सी प्रतीत होने से प्रज्ञान घन कही गई है. जैसे रात्रि में अंधकार के कारण सब पृथक पृथक पदार्थ एकाकार हुए जान पड़ते हैं, वैसे ही सुषुप्ति में ये प्रज्ञान घन होता है. And here Paramathanandaji had made a distinction that Ekibhut was referring to objects, whereas Prajnanagan is objects which have become as though one, enveloped in the darkness of ignorance and sleep. And Prajnanagan, he pointed out, was the thoughts, the mental, the vrittya, which become enveloped, merged as though. They are called as Prajnanagan. मूल श्रुति में प्रज्ञान घन एव में एव शब्द यह सूचित करने के लिए है कि प्रज्ञान के अतिरिक्त वहां कोई भिन्न जाति की जड़ वस्तु नहीं है. ओके, देन वी सी दैट शास्त्र इज यूजिंग द वर्ड फॉर डीप स्लीप एज is giving an adjective Anandamaya. So this Anandamaya is not Swarupanand. because it is available only in sleep. It is a state, you know. Whereas Swarupananda is always there, being one's very nature. And here Paramathananji makes a very beautiful point that Swarupananda is oneself. So it is not an object. Therefore, it can't be objectified and experienced. It is meant for claiming, I am Ananda. Iti. Swarupananda is meant for claiming as I am Ananda, not for experiencing as Ananda, because being Swarupananda, it cannot be objectified. So being Swarupananda, it's not a matter of experience, only a matter of claiming or owning up. Samadhi, Anand also is available only in Samadhi. And so it can also, Samadhi can also be called as Anandamaya. It is not the same as Swarupananda. So Sushupti Ananda is experienced because of absence of Ahankara, Mamakara, Raga, Dvesha. Iti. Now let's look at what our Akhandanandji has to say. वहाँ सुषुप्ति में प्राज्ञ आनंदमय है. आनंद न कहकर आनंदमय क्यों कहा? विषयी भाव में बार बार अपनी आकृति बदलते रहना यह मन का कष्ट है. विषयी भाव में स्पंदित होने का प्रयास न करना पड़े, यह दुख का अभाव हुआ. वेरी नाइस. ओके, ये दुख का अभाव हुआ. आई लाइक दैट वेरी मच. आई हैव मेंशन, आई हैव नॉट रिटन दैट. या ओके, आई विल टेक दैट लेटर. हाँ, सो absence of pain in sushupti is because of entertaining thoughts, absence of entertaining thoughts like worry, hatred, fear, guilt, sadness. All are thoughts. And in sushupti, this subject-object relationship is not there. These kind of thoughts are absent. These are all burdensome thoughts, ayas hai isme. And that's what here he is saying. In sushupti, this kind of ayas is not there. विषयी भाव में स्पंदित होने का प्रयास न करना पड़े, यह दुख का अभाव हुआ. सुषुप्ति में इस दुख का अभाव होने से आनंदमय कहा गया है. स्वप्न या जागृत में मन ही कभी विषय बनता है, कभी विषयी बनता है. भोक्ता और भोग्य दोनों मन की स्फुरणाएं हैं, जो स्वयं ही कभी विषयी और कभी विषय बनता है. संसार के सभी लोग इस भ्रम से दुखी है. सुषुप्ति में यह आयास न होने से वह आनंदमय है. आनंदमय का अर्थ है आनंद प्राय, अर्थात शुद्ध आनंद नहीं, क्योंकि अविद्या से वहां का आनंद ग्रस्त है. सुषुप्ति आनंद है, पर वह आत्मा का स्वरूप ही है, यह ज्ञान नहीं है. यही अविद्या है. इसलिए सोकर उठने पर वह उसका अवस्था का ही आनंद था, अब नहीं रहा, ऐसी भ्रांति होती है. यदि अज्ञान न होता तो मैं ही आनंद था, हूं और रहूंगा, यह निश्चय रहता. विषय में नश्वरता है और इंद्रियों में असामर्थ्य. विषय भोग सदा बने नहीं रहेंगे, या उनका संयोग वियोग होगा और इंद्रियों के द्वारा किसी विषय को सदा भोगा नहीं जा सकता. मन भी किसी एक भोग में ही सदा नहीं लगा रहता. Now I got music Ananda, and music Ananda will go on 24 hours. No way. Even if you are the best singer, it will not go on 24 hours. अतः संसार की जागृत, स्वप्न, सुषुप्ति में भोग कोई सच्चा आत्यंतिक सुख नहीं दे सकते. Very important. Okay? Whichever Ananda you love the most, whatever Ananda you love the most, you have music Ananda, you have yoga Ananda, you have got Vishayananda, you have Vidyananda. All of them, they are not Nitya and they are not Avinashi. So सच्चा सुख सूचित करने के लिए उसमें विशेषण लगाने पड़ते हैं कि सुख नित्य अविनाशी होना चाहिए. सुषुप्ति के समान अज्ञात नहीं, किंतु ज्ञात यानी प्रकाशित होना चाहिए. विभू अर्थात देश काल से परिच्छिन्न नहीं होना चाहिए. नाम रूप से परिच्छिन्न नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि नाम रूप अनित्य है. उनसे होने वाला सुख भी अनित्य होगा. इसलिए हम लोग को क्या होता है, that we get hooked onto नाम रूप सुखा, no, and we get bored also by it. That sukha is going on for some time, you get bored, but then already a raga has been created, then you want more of the sukha iti, and so we are all the time chasing this नाम रूपक सुख इति. नाम रूप का आश्रय आधार होना चाहिए for this kind of sukh. Then Swamiji says, मति न लखे जही मति लखे सो में शुद्ध अपार. I didn't understand that. बुद्धि दृश्य बुद्धि रूप नहीं, किंतु बुद्धि का दृष्टा होना चाहिए. ऐसे सुख का स्वरूप है अपार अर्थात अनिर्वचनीय, वह मैं ही हूं. सुख जब अप्राप्त है तब पुरुष की इच्छा का विषय है, और ज्ञात अर्थात प्राप्त है तब पुरुष रूप ही होता है. सुषुप्ति में कोई पीड़ा नहीं, कोई चिंता नहीं, कोई आयास नहीं, अतः वहाँ आनंदमय यानी आनंद प्राय है, प्राचुर्य है उसकी. वहाँ का सुख आत्यंतिक नहीं, इसी से आनंद प्राय है, क्योंकि सुषुप्ति से जागरण होगा ही और जागते ही वहाँ का सुख समाप्त हो जाएगा. जैसे लोक में कोई बिना आयास श्रम किए रहता हो तो कहते हैं कि ये बड़े आनंद में है, वैसे ही सुषुप्ति अत्यंत अनायास रूप स्थिति है. इसमें कोई परिश्रम नहीं करना पड़ता, अतः इसको आनंद भुख कहते हैं. ओके, सो आनंद भुख, consciousness illumines the ananda in sushupti, and so it is called ananda bhuk, the experiencer of ananda. See, when you are relaxed, there is absence of sorrow, and that absence of sorrow is what is called as ananda. Now deep sleep is the highest relaxation, so ananda is there, and the deep sleeper is the one who experiences the ananda, and therefore he is called as ananda bhuk, the experiencer of ananda. Now we can go to cheto mukha. Now cheto mukha turned out to be quite complex, okay, because there are two interpretations for it. Then we will look at Swami V's book based on two meanings of the word chetaha. So chetaha, the first meaning we will take is the very specific experiences of Jagrat and Swapna. That means vritti jnanam, okay, in which vritti jnanam is there. So chetoho mukha means the doorway to Jagrat and Swapna. So Prajna is the doorway or the corridor or the link to Jagrat and Swapna. Meaning, you go from Jagrat, you will go to Sushupti, and from Sushupti you will go to Swapna. Then from Swapna you will go to Sushupti, and then from Sushupti you will go to Jagrat iti. So, the Vishwa never becomes Taijasa directly. Vishwa, you remember what is Vishwa? The waker. What is Taijasa? The dreamer. So the waker never becomes the dreamer directly, nor the dreamer becomes the waker directly. Always has to go to Prajna, has to go to Sushupti. And the logic was what? That for the waker to go to the dream, the waker has to identify from the Sthula Sharira and again re-identify with the Sukshma Sharira. So in between there is a small gap before the re-identification takes place, and that is this prajna. Okay, and then from there he re-identifies with the dream state, with the Sukshma Sharira, and he will experience dream iti. So too the dreamer has to disidentify from the Sukshma Sharira and re-identify with the Sthula Sharira, and that in between stage, when that re-identification has not yet come, disidentification has taken place, re-identification has not yet come, that is the prajna avastha. So prajna becomes the link or the corridor, okay, for the other two avasthas. This was one interpretation. The second interpretation of the word chetaha means consciousness, the swarupa jnanam, consciousness. It becomes the doorway, the mukha, for the sleeper to become Vishwa or Taijasa. Basically, in both interpretations, this prajna connects the Vishwa and the Taijasa. So, in the first interpretation, Cheto Mukhaha, the Chetaha means Vritti Jnanam. And in the second interpretation, it means Swarupa Chaitanya. So, now let's look at this Swami V's book, and I am going to bring in our friend Harish, if he is there. Page 138. Okay. So before Harish comes, I think I'll start. It may take a few minutes for Harish to come. There you are, Harish. Hey, wow. So we are on page 138, Namo Narayana. You can read, Deep sleep is a gateway to waking and dream.
The deep sleeper is further described as Cheto Mukhaha. Mukha, mouth, refers to an opening, entryway or gateway. Chetas means awareness, consciousness. In waking and dream states, we are conscious of gross or subtle objects, respectively. Therefore, consciousness in waking and dream is Vishesha Jnanam, manifest or particular consciousness.
Or we can call it as Vritti Jnanam.
In the deep sleep state, we are not conscious of anything particular. Therefore, consciousness in deep sleep is Samanya Jnanam, unmanifest or general consciousness. Mukha here is gateway to transition from unmanifest deep sleep consciousness to manifest waking or dreaming consciousness. That transition is characterized in two ways, through two explanations of the word Cheto Mukha. One explanation of Cheto Mukha is Chetasaha Mukham Ya Saha, the one who is the gateway for consciousness.
So here you can go to the footnote, it's a little more easy to understand from the footnote. Chetasa Mukham Yaha Saha Cheto Mukhaha. Now you can read.
The one general consciousness who is the gateway for entering particular consciousness is called Cheta Mukha.
So here general consciousness means prajna only. Okay. The prajna becomes the gateway or corridor or link for entering into particular consciousness, means waking or dream. Iti. Okay, continue.
Waking and dream are manifest states, while deep sleep is unmanifest state. Unmanifest is called cause and manifest is called effect. The cause is called the gateway to the effect because cause precedes the effect. The effect cannot be if the cause is not. Particular manifest consciousness depends upon the preceding existence of general unmanifest consciousness. From this standpoint, deep sleep is considered the cause and waking and dream states are considered effects. Therefore, the general consciousness in deep sleeper is the gateway for entering Chetas, the particular consciousness in the waking and dream states. Another explanation of the Cheta Mukha is Cheta Mukham Asya Saha. The footnote says the one sleeper for whom general consciousness is the gateway to a particular consciousness is called Cheta Mukha.
So here we are having a difference, in the way, Swami Paramathananda is looking at it and Swami Viditatmananda is looking at it is a little different. Because Paramathananji is looking at it as Swarupa Jnanam, he is looking at it as Chaitanyam, Swarupa Chaitanyam is there, and that because it is there, Prajna can become a gateway. That's how he is looking at it. Let's look at how Swamiji is looking at it.
Here, Chetas refers to Samanya Jnanam, general consciousness, which is in the deep sleeper and is also in the waker and dreamer.
Okay, so it's the same thing.
One can go either directly from deep sleep to waking or directly from deep sleep to dream, and then from dream to waking. As
I will put one minute. Yeah, I will put a small note here, and then from dream to waking through prajna, as directed by karma. Okay, I will add that little this thing. Okay.
Spanning all three states, the Chetas general consciousness is like a threshold or doorway shared between the sleeper and the waker, or between the sleeper and the dreamer, through which the sleeper enters the waking or dream states. Therefore, Cheta's general consciousness is the gateway for the sleeper to enter waking or dreamer. Thus, the deep sleeper is called Cheta Mukha, either because the deep sleeper becomes the gateway for consciousness of the waking and dream, or because consciousness becomes the gateway for the sleeper to come to the waking and dream. Either way, Cheta Mukha is a gateway for the experience of waking and dream.
Yeah, so basically it's exactly what we had said before. The Cheta has got two different meanings, two interpretations they have taken. One where Cheta means the specific, means Vritti Jnanam, and in the second, Cheta means Swarupa, the consciousness itself. Okay, because of its presence, a prajna can enter into it. Is common to all three, and because of its presence, prajna can enter into dream and deep sleep. So that was Cheto Mukha. Now comes this deep sleeper, and Paramathananji's. Let me take his first because he has taken three interpretations, and then we'll come back to Swami V. Okay. So now the word prajna is there. So the three interpretations. The first one is used in Tattva Bodha, which is not what Mandukya is going to be using. In texts like Tattva Bodha and Vedanta Sara, this first interpretation is there. And in that they say in Sushupti, Jiva, Ishvara difference is not experienced because Jiva has merged into Ishvara in sleep. So both Jiva and Ishvara are an undifferentiated form. So then we can look at it from the standpoint of Jiva or from the standpoint of Ishvara. And if focus is on the Jiva, then Prajna will mean Jiva who is in total ignorance. Okay. So Prajna over there means Jiva who is in total ignorance. That's what Prajna means there. In the that is in Tattva Bodha, not here. In Mandukya Upanishad, we can take two interpretations. That Jiva is resolved, it is not there, and only Ishvara is remaining. Because into the Ishvara, Jiva has resolved. So Ishvara is there with the potential of all knowledge. He's there as Sarvagnya because the potential is there, because when waking takes place, that all knowledge will be evident. Iti. So that's why potential of this thing is there. Then one more interpretation is there. So in one interpretation, it is Ishvara who is Sarvagnya. Another interpretation of Prajna is that he is nothing but Swarupa Chaitanya, the nature of pure consciousness, who illumines this absence of Triputi in Sushupti, who is present in Jagrat, who is present in Swapna. So what happens is the sleeper is as good as pure objectless consciousness, because all particular knowledge is resolved. Okay, so these two interpretations can be there. So now let's look, it may be easier, now let's look at what Swamiji has to say. There's lot of Sanskrit now coming up. Okay, you can read.
The deep sleeper is called Pragya. The
Pragnya, not Pragya.
Pragya, sorry,
See
Pragya.
that A is got a
The Pragya, the Tritiya Pada, the third quarter of the Atma. The word Pragya is explained as
Para
plus
A
plus
Gyaha.
Gyaha. Pra stands for Prakashine.
Prakarshena.
Prakarshena.
Now that, see
Very
that
well.
S has got a dot underneath. So that dot means it becomes sh. Prakarshena.
Prakarshena. Very
The
well.
N has also got a dot.
Okay.
Okay, so
A
A stands for Asamantat. No, Asamantat. Look at, try that again. Asamantat.
Asamantat. From all sides or from all directions. And Gya means Jnanati. Jnanati, one who knows. So Prakarshena
Asamantat Jnanati Yaha Saha Pragnaha.
Yaha Saha Pragyaha. One who knows everything very well is called Pragyaha. How is it said that this deep sleeper is Shushuptaha, is Pragyaha, that he knows everything? Which, when in the deep sleep state, there is a total blanket of ignorance. The Kaivalya Upanishad describes that ignorance in these brief descriptions of the three states. Waking. Swaminiji, you
I will read this. Okay, I will read it. Sa eva maya parimohitatma shariram asthaya karoti sarvam striyanna panadi vichitra bhogaihi sa eva jagrat paritriptimeti.
This Atma, who is deluded by Maya, ignorance, takes this body to be the self and experiences the waking state, fulfilling various desires arising on account of the gross and the subtle bodies.
So this was a description of waking state in Kaivalya Upanishad. Okay, that this Atma is totally deluded by ignorance, and so he takes this body to be the self, and then he experiences the waking state and he fulfills all his desires. Okay. Okay. Then the dream state he describes as Swapne sa jivaha sukha dukkha bhokta swamayaya kalpita jiva loke.
In dream also he experiences pleasure and pain like he does in the waking state, except that in the dream state he experiences the pleasure and pain swamayaya kalpita jiva loke, in the world that is projected by his own maya.
In deep sleep, Sushupti kale sakale viline tamobhibhutaha sukha rupameti.
At the time of deep sleep, then everything merges into ignorance. He attains his own nature of happiness.
Tamobhibhutaha
means one who is overcome by tamas, ignorance. There is complete darkness of ignorance. In the deep sleep state, the self is completely overcome by ignorance and sukha rupa meti. He attains his own nature of happiness. Then how it is said that this deep sleeper is pragya, one who knows everything very well? Bhashyakara says that
Bhuta Purva Gatya Pragnya Uchyate.
Bhuta Purva Gatya, the same one who is sleeping now, has undergone the states of waking and dream. when he knew everything. Therefore, even though the self as pragya is covered by ignorance now in deep sleep, there is a potential that he will know everything in the waking state and the dream states. Even though now in deep sleep there is only sadharana jnanam,
Sadharana
sadharana jnanam,
Jnanam.
sadharana jnanam, general knowledge. He will become the knower of particular knowledge in waking and dream. From that standpoint, he can be said to be pragya in a secondary sense.
So here Swami
Alternatively,
V has taken him only as an individual. Okay, Swamiji has not taken the Ishvara standpoint at all. Now let's see. Alternatively,
sometimes pragya is explained as para plus agya prakarshane agya, one who is very
Prakarshena
well ignorant.
Agnya.
One who is very well ignorant. He is not totally ignorant, but ignorant for all intents and purposes, having only general knowledge without particulars. For these reasons, the deep sleeper is called pragya.
Pragnya iti. So with that, we are going to halt this class because I am not studying. It took me long time to read up all this. So next time we will look at the next mantra, okay? And I will again try to, okay, we'll look at the next mantra. Next time we'll come and see the next mantra, okay? So I will urge you all to, in the Facebook, there is one group for guided Vedanta meditations. And sometimes some of the meditations seem to go along with our study of Mandukya, So especially the last one, the guided meditation 17, was going along with what we are studying. So it is interesting to do that, So you can pick that up from Facebook over there, guided meditation number 17, and meditate on that. And if you have any questions, you can ask. Okay. So with that, we conclude this class. It's a little bit early, but I think that's enough for today. I was very, very tired after the Guru Purnima thing, Guru Purnima bash. And so this is a short class. Okay. Om Tat Sat. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithave Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaः Om Sarvesham Swastir Sarvesham Shantir Sarvesham Purnam Sarvesham Mangalam Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaः Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. I wanted to say something, just now after this. Yeah. So anyway, look into those meditations. They're pretty good meditations. Sometimes they may appear to be a little heavy. So whenever you find a meditation is getting heavy for you, okay, the wordings, remember to just take deep breathing. You can just breathe and let it out through your mouth. Okay, that's very, very helpful. And you will find it, the stress level changes completely. So like that, you'll be able to get through the meditation. Sometimes they are a little tough, okay? So because they're so deep, and there is so much of concepts being pushed through a meditation. Actually, we are using this meditation for understanding and assimilating the concepts. But there's another type of meditation where we are just relaxing and we are getting ourselves free of concepts, So that kind of meditation is also useful, and I think we need to do both. Okay, with that I conclude. Om Tat Sat.